I'm going to tell you how to make thumbnails that people will click on so you can get more views on your videos, and we're starting right now. This video is brought to you by Placeit. Placeit has easy to edit YouTube intros, channel banners, end screens, and more for YouTubers. And the best part is you don't have to have any additional software to use Placeit. You do everything directly in your browser. And because of their professionally designed templates, you don't have to have any design skills to make pro quality designs for your YouTube channel. Check this out. Using Placeit is as easy as selecting the template you want to use, editing the text to fit your needs, adjusting the colors to match your channel, and then saving your finished file to your computer. You can even upload images to really make your designs pop. To try Placeit for yourself and save 15% off of your Placeit account, use the link in the description of this video. Okay, when it comes to making thumbnails, it's really important to understand that thumbnails and titles, they work together. So they're kind of like a team trying to win the click. That's why thumbnails and titles are extremely important, because they're a team. The title might give some more information to what the video is about, even if the thumbnail itself doesn't. But if you can give context within the thumbnail, do it. And the reason for that is because the faster that you can get somebody to click, the better off that you're gonna be. Like if somebody's scrolling on their phone, you want them to think, oh, I gotta click, I gotta see this. But you always want to consider the thumbnail and the title, and always think about when you're packaging up your video, when you're getting it ready to publish, think about how the two work together. And I also want to make the disclaimer really quick that it's really important to make sure that you test your thumbnails as well, because when you test your thumbnails, you get to find out what actually works instead of what you think works. And you always want to go with what actually works. But here are some best practices and some things that you should always keep in mind when you're making thumbnails. The very first thing is you want to make sure that the thumbnail that you're making is a good fit for the people that you're trying to reach with the thumbnail. Here's what I mean. If you're trying to reach older professionals, then it doesn't really make sense to have a bunch of crazy YouTube-y type of things going on in your thumbnail. But if you're making gaming content for a younger group of people, then in that situation, that might be something that they would be more likely to respond to. If you're making videos for males or females specifically, in that situation, you might want to reflect that through your thumbnail design. But it's important to know that you don't have to actually have any type of actual graphic design. You can also just use a picture, which brings us to the next thing. If you're using images in your thumbnails, especially if the images themselves contain the thing that you want viewers to focus on, which they should, you want to make sure that it's clear what it is that the viewer should be focused on. For example, if you're doing tech reviews and you're reviewing a specific product and you have an overhead shot of an entire desk full of tech stuff, you want to make sure that the thing you're trying to grab the viewer's attention with, the thing that you want them to focus on when they're scrolling through their phone or when they open up their computer, you want to make sure that that thing is crystal clear, that that stands out from everything else on the desk. In that same scenario, you could even isolate the specific item or have that one in color, or make everything else black and white where that specific item is the only thing in color. If you're doing gaming content, you're showing people how to beat a specific character and you're just using a screenshot of the game, same thing applies. Highlight the character that you're actually trying to show people how to beat, or whatever would grab the attention of the people that are looking for that particular type of video. This next one, people ask me a lot. They're like, hey Nick, should I use text in my thumbnails? Should I not use text in my thumbnails? I actually did an entire podcast episode on this. Yeah, I have a podcast in case you didn't know. I got a link to it in the description. But people always ask me, Nick, should I or should I not use text in my thumbnails? And of course, the very first answer is, well, you should test it and see what works best for you and the content that you're putting out. But if you are going to use text in your thumbnails, it is very important to make sure that the text that you're using is 1, bold, 2, easy to read. You want to make sure that you don't have any type of fancy things coming off of the letters that make it difficult to read. 3, you want to use as few words as possible. You don't want to fill your thumbnail with a bunch of text. Use as few words as humanly possible so that you can grab the viewer's attention with it and hopefully get them to click. Next thing you can do is use graphics to bring attention to the things that you're trying to bring attention to in your thumbnail. If you look around YouTube for about, 8 seconds, you're going to see tons of thumbnails using arrows to point to things. And the reason that people do that is because those arrows draw the attention to the specific thing that the content creator is trying to bring attention to. Same thing with circling things, putting boxes around things. Graphical elements in thumbnails is a way to draw the viewer's attention, or the potential viewer's attention, to the thing that is the most important for them to see to try to entice them to click on the thumbnail. The same exact thing applies to color. You can use color to pull people's attention to specific things in your thumbnails as well. When you are using color this way, you want to make sure that you refer to the first tip that I gave on making sure that the colors that you're using would make sense for the audience that you're trying to reach. But you can use color for the graphical elements in your thumbnails. You can use color to put frames around your thumbnails. Basically anything that you can do with color to put it in your thumbnails to try to grab the attention of people when they're scrolling through their mobile phone or they're on their computer. Remember, we're trying to win the click, so we're pulling out all of the stops to try to win the click. Next is faces. A lot of people are like, hey, should I put my face in my thumbnail? Should I not put my face in my thumbnail. Now, of course, you know I'm gonna tell you to test it, but if you are putting faces in your thumbnail, it's important to try different expressions as well, because sometimes a serious look might do it for that video, other times an excited look, sometimes surprised. Scared might do the trick for that video for you. But it's really important to experiment instead of getting stuck on the idea that yes, I have to put a face in my thumbnail because faces typically get clicked on more than not. It doesn't mean that that's the right thing for you and that that'll be the most effective thing for you. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you're testing. The next thing you want to do when you are putting your thumbnails together is you want to make sure that you're making them for mobile devices, and here's why. According to YouTube, over 70% of the total watch time on YouTube happens on mobile devices. So if that's not a reason by itself to make sure that you're optimizing everything for mobile, I don't know what is. Even TV viewership, which is increasing by the way, even on a big TV, if you're sitting across the room from it, let's say you're sitting on the sofa and you're looking over at the TV, even the thumbnails there in a lot of cases are gonna be relatively small. So you wanna make sure that it's really easy to understand what it is that you're wanting people to understand when they see your thumbnail. Which is another reminder that if you are using text, big, bold, easy to read. I also recommend if you have a way to do it on your phone, or if you're on a computer, it's easier, you can just screenshot the page, but basically take a look at what your thumbnail would actually look like inside of YouTube. Just seeing what your thumbnail looks like on the YouTube homepage can make a difference on how you are seeing your thumbnail, because you'll be like, hey, this completely blends in. There's no way I can compete with all these other thumbnails here. Or you're like, got this, completely pops, completely stands out, I'm winning this click. Another thing that you want to do along those same lines is, if you are making content where you are trying to rank your videos in search, it's really important to go and just take a few minutes and look around to see what other videos are popping up when you search for the thing that you're targeting. We'll use gaming and tech for this again. Let's say that you're making gaming content or you're making tech content and you're trying to get those videos to show up in search for specific things. You want to make sure that you're able to grab attention when people are putting in those specific search terms, because if you can't, you're not going to stay in search. If people don't click, you're not going to stay on home pages. If people don't click in search, you're not going to stay in search, so you have to win the click. Another thing that's really important when it comes to thumbnails is to make sure that you stay flexible. I use templates for my thumbnails and I rotate through the things that work and the things that don't work on my channel. You'll see tons of channels using templates and using particular styles and things like that with their thumbnails, but it's important to make sure that even if you are doing that currently, it's important that you keep an open mind. And the reason for that is because having an effective thumbnail is way more important than having a thumbnail that looks the same as the rest of your thumbnails. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about branding. I'm all about making it easy for people to recognize your content on the platform. So that's where you can have like a little logo or something in the corner maybe, but just make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, it's gotta be effective. It doesn't matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter how colorful it is. If it's not effective, then it's working against you instead of for you. So keep an open mind when it comes to templates, just to make sure that what you're doing is right for what's happening on your channel now. I have a step-by-step tutorial coming out really soon about how to make a clicky thumbnail, so make sure that you subscribe for that if you haven't yet. And to make thumbnails in an extremely easy way, remember to check out Placeit that was mentioned at the beginning of this video. A link to that is in the description below and it'll save you 15%. And to learn even more ways to give yourself lots of advantages on YouTube, click into this playlist right here, right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.